Hello, this is Anna Maria. Welcome to my Gardening Tips and Antigone's Greek Cooking channel. Today I'm going to tell you about some different non-invasive, beautiful varieties of honeysuckle. The first vine I'm going to tell you about is Trumpet Honeysuckle. This is Trumpet Honeysuckle. It can also be called Coral Honeysuckle or Woodbine. And every plant has a botanical name too. This botanical name is Lonicera sempervirens, which I hope I pronounced right. I'm getting this information from the Missouri Botanical Gardens. So I wrote it out on a little card so I wouldn't miss anything. But it is native to Southeast America. Southeastern America. So that's the cool thing is this is a native vine, native to America. And it's actually naturalized itself to the eastern part of the United States as well. In Missouri it grows very well in the woodlands and in thickets, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful vine. It gets 10 to 15 feet tall. As you can see, mine is around 4-something feet tall, but it can get pretty tall. Not huge, over 20 feet, but 10 to 15 feet. The flowers are very, very fragrant, so they just smell amazing, and that's why I have it near my porch, because I wanted to smell the honeysuckle when I came out my door. And as you can see, it vines. It's a vining plant. It loves to vine. Some people train these honeysuckles as small shrubs that are 4 to 6 feet tall, but I really like the look of the vining honeysuckle, so I've trained mine to climb up the porch, and I'll show you a little bit about how you can train it a little later in the video. The other great thing about it is it doesn't need a really, really rich soil to grow. All it really needs is average, medium soil. So all I do to my soil is I just put some compost on it in the spring. I might fertilize it with a little something, but I haven't even done that yet, and look how well it has done. So these flowers this is a different variety that I'll show you in a little bit, but there are flowers about to come out here, and this was flowering a lot 2 weeks ago, and I haven't really done much of anything. So they're very easy to care for. They have very few insect and disease problems. I don't even see any insect that's bothering me, so it's just a great, easy plant to grow. So let me move on to tell you about the second variety I have. The second variety I wanted to tell you about is called John Clayton Honeysuckle, and this is a variety of the one that I showed you before on the other side, Trumpet Honeysuckle. This is a variety of it, but unlike Trumpet Honeysuckle that's orange and red and yellow, this is only yellow. And it's beautiful. The flowers are, if you smell them, mildly fragrant, not as hugely fragrant as the trumpet, but it still has a pretty wonderful smell to it. And as you can see, this one vines like the other one. It was founded in 1991 in the woods on the grounds of a 17th century church. So this is a native honeysuckle like the trumpet, and it's very, very unique and wonderful because of its compact size. It gets, as I said, 6 to 12 feet high and around 3 feet wide. So as you can see, I'm missing this part of the banister, but if you ignore that mess, you can see how beautiful this is, and how it's just vining all over the place, and how green the leaves are. Again, this honeysuckle, like the trumpet honeysuckle, doesn't have a lot of insect or disease problems at all. It's just very carefree. Again, medium, average soil, medium water. Again, either the full sun, which it does have over here, or partial shade is great for this honeysuckle. And again, just like the trumpet honeysuckle, it does get little teeny red berries in the fall that are inedible to humans, but birds really love them. And you can see in this honeysuckle, this bird, there's a robin that has made a nest, because hummingbirds, butterflies, and other birds love honeysuckle. I love it too. If you watch my other video about what to do with honeysuckle, I talked about how to get the nectar out of the honeysuckle vine. And so it's very sweet and fun to get the nectar out. But this bird has built a nest, and I often see the mommy bird in the morning, and there are 4 little eggs there. So birds just love it. Humans love it. It's just an easy plant to grow. If you've never grown anything, this performs. Native plants in general are much easier to deal with than plants that come from overseas. So they are already adapted to this country, and it's a good idea to try to put some of them into your landscape. So let me tell you now about the third variety of honeysuckle that I have. This variety of honeysuckle that I have here is one of my absolute favorites, because it has this dual pink. I love the pink and the yellow together. I've always liked those colors together. I just think it's so unique. And this, if you smell the flowers, they are very aromatic and fragrant, and that's why I like to have it right near my porch. This is actually a cross between the honeysuckle you saw over there, the trumpet honeysuckle, and a European variety of honeysuckle called Lonicera americana. And that name is deceiving because you think it's American, but this is actually a cross between the European variety and the native trumpet honeysuckle that is native to America. This is a cross between them. It gets 10 to 15 feet tall, so it can get pretty tall. It spreads 3 to 6 feet wide. Mine is probably already 6 feet wide at least, so it's doing great here. Again, it only needs average soil like the other honeysuckles. It likes full sun, which it gets getting here, or part shade. You can see my honeysuckles are flowering much better on this side that has a lot of sun than they are on the side that has a lot of shade. But they're still flowering in the shade, and they're still thriving. So, but it's doing great. These flowers are attractive to birds and hummingbirds, just like the other flowers. And you can prune this one to a little shrub 4 to 6 feet tall if you want to, but I do prefer to have it climb. It's just so pretty when it climbs like this and gives you a great fragrance. And now I'm going to show you a little bit about how to prune the honeysuckle vine if you should want to prune it. Now I'm going to show you a little bit about how to prune honeysuckle. I've already done a lot of major pruning, so I'll have to show you that next year if I have to do it. But for right now, I'll show you in general how you can do it. And if you look here, in the middle of this is Gold Flame. If I have these 2 branches crossing each other and I don't want them to cross each other, then I could take off some of this little branch, because I kind of like this pink color and it looks stronger and thicker. This looks skinnier. You see how this one's skinnier and more woody? So all I would do if I wanted to take some off would be to make a cut right above this next set of leaves. You don't really need to make a cut here and leave a bunch of this stem, as that's just going to die anyway. So if I wanted to make a cut, I could just make a cut right there. And that's how easy it is. Anywhere you want. And now you see this isn't crossing this anymore. If I wanted it to be even shorter, it's not a big deal. I could just cut to this other, right above this other set of leaves. So you see where I'm cutting right above this other set of leaves, making a cut like that. So honeysuckle is one of those plants that's not particular about. Now this, because it's so pretty, I probably wouldn't make a cut. I will choose to tie that to the banister, maybe, and I'll show you that in a minute. What else could I take off? If I wanted to, I could take off some of these yellow leaves. So all you have to do for that is you can either use your clipper or use your hands. This leaf is turning yellow. It might be because of a nutrient deficiency. And I need to check my soil to see. But I'm not too concerned about it because all these leaves are green. Most of the leaves are green. It might not be getting enough light back here. And that's why some of them are turning yellow. So if you don't want the yellow leaf, you can just keep clipping them off. You can clip off wherever you see a yellow leaf that you don't want. And so it's very, very easy to prune this plant. Let's say you didn't want these leaves because these leaves are curling a little bit. Again, you would want to make a little cut right above a set of leaves, just like that. And that would be how we would cut it. As you can see, it winds around a lot and it gets tangled a lot. And you can untangle it if you want to. Like, see, don't be afraid of these vines. You can untangle it and put it where you want to. Ooh. See, I might want to tie that up to the banister. And look, if I want to untwine this a little bit more, just be gentle because they can break. And look at this. This twig is almost already broken. It's pretty much already broken. So if I want to take this off, I can simply, whoop, it already just broke off. But if you wanted to take it off, you can just make a cut. Take it off, right off there. Anything that doesn't have a leaf on it, like this one, this is just old wood. It doesn't have any leaf on it. I can make a cut and just take it off. And that is, oh, here's another place over here where I have dead wood. If you see, there are no leaves on this part of the honeysuckle. So if I want to, now this part leads to leaves, so I'm not going to bother with that, but this part doesn't have any leaves. So I can simply cut it back. I don't need to cut it here because all this is going to die anyway. I'll cut it to where it's living, maybe 1 inch or so above where it's living. Just cut it off. And that is as simple as that. Very easy to prune your honeysuckle vines, and they're very forgiving. If you do a major pruning, I still wouldn't prune more than 1/3 of the plant at a time. But you can prune it back pretty well and they will come back for you and be beautiful. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how to tie some of the vine up if you want to trellis it. Now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to train the beautiful honeysuckle vine to a trellis. And as you can see, when it started out, it had 3 different branches at the base, and each one of those made 2 branches. And what I did was I tied those branches to this part of the deck where I wanted them to go. I spread them out where I wanted them to go, and then they just kept growing, and I continued to tie them up where I wanted them to go. So I'm going to give you an example of how I tie them up over here. For example, if you see a piece of honeysuckle hanging down like this one, if I look at it, a lot of these are close to the banister, but these 2 are kind of coming out away from it. Let's say I want them to be closer. let's fix this really tall one first. As you can see, I'm on a chair because this is kind of high up. This isn't the best thing to stand on, but you need to stand on something you feel comfortable standing on. If it's high, because as I said, the vine can get pretty high. So what I'll do is I'll wind. This is some garden tape. I'll show you what it looks like. It just looks like this, and I got it from Ace Hardware, and I just cut it so that it wasn't so wide into little strips, and I'm using one of these little strips. So what I would do would be I would wind it around the post and carefully, gently, because as I said, the vine can break. I would want to take this vine and figure out where. See, I'm going to have to be on my tippy toes. Where I can tie it so that it will go where I want it to. And a lot of times it takes a little bit of experimenting. And if you don't get it right the first time, if you don't get it right the first time, you can always adjust what you're doing. I like this tape because it's gentle on the, you always want to be gentle not to tear off the stems. So this tape is really gentle. And there we go. That looks a little bit better if I want it to be. Yeah, see? Now, let's do this one. So I'll take another strip. And we'll see where we want it. Do we like it like this, or do we like it like this? Let's say I like it like this. As I said, you can experiment and see where you like it. Where I like it might be different than where you might like it. And if you experiment with it, you'll figure out where you want it. And I just simply gently, again, because you don't want to break the stem, tie it up. So you see now, all of them are more against this pole than they were before. I'm going to try it on the other pole a minute. And with this one, I have a beautiful piece of the Gold Flame hanging down over here. It's hanging down. Do you see how it's hanging? Let's say I don't want it to hang there and I want to tie it up to this post. Then I would simply wind it very gently, because they have broken on me before. And this is a bit tricky because I have this part over here. This is the post, but then I have this gutter right here. So sometimes I try to go in between them with the tape, and there we go. Sometimes it's hard for me to see the other side. Okay, so basically I have what I've done is I've tied it. I'm tying it first to in between the gutter and the post. Don't know if it's the wisest idea, but and if I wanted it to go around the post, let's see, I already have this one. I could untie it and use the same one. So let's see, I can untie this one and put this right around there. So now you can see that instead of having it hang down where it was, now we have it bound to this post. Again, I'm tying it very, very gently and not harshly against it. And I didn't know how it would do, but thankfully it just accepted the positions that I was putting it in. So it's going to probably keep winding around. I'll wait till it gets a little longer to tie it a little bit more there. I'll show you just 2 more sections. But this one, instead of maybe having it hang this way, let's say I wanted to tie it to the banister. So if I wanted to tie it to the banister, all I would do is turn it in the direction I wanted and gently use this tape to tie it where I wanted it to be. And as long as you're gentle with these vines, they'll work with you, and they won't typically be bothered by this training. Let's say I wanted the other part to be over here, because it's pretty when it does that. I would just put it where I wanted it, take this green tape, and tie it up very gently. And now we don't have it hanging toward me. I could do this other one too. Let's see, let me do one more for you. Well, I have this piece hanging down. If I wanted this piece to go up and not hang down, I could simply tie this one up too. So I could actually use this piece that's already here, but I don't really have to. I can tie it to any place. Maybe I'll tie it to this little narrow part of the fencing. I try not to tie it right where the leaves are, but trying to get stem instead. Tie it very gently around the stem, and there it is. I think that it looks a lot better when it's climbing up than if it's just hanging down. So thank you so much for watching my video about some different interesting varieties of honeysuckle. I really appreciate your watching, and if you like this video, please feel free to give it a like and to comment. And anything that you would like to comment about honeysuckle, growing honeysuckle, or anything about this video. And remember that if I can grow honeysuckle, you can grow honeysuckle too. And I hope to catch you on future videos. Thanks again. Bye.